This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, welcome back. In this session, I'm going to show you a DataView core math functions and DataView core string functions that I have listed here. This would be a small video. I was just introducing the core math functions and string functions. Let's see one by one. I have created one configuration file and taken two data view components. Let's see the available data view math functions first. If we just aware of the available math functions and string functions, then we could able to recall in the future wherever we need these. So if we remember these methods, what are the available methods in math functions and in string functions, whenever we get a chance to visit those, then we can recall and we can make use of those functions. So if you see here, I have listed the all available functions and already prepared the transform message. I will provide this logic and you can see the outcome. Let's go one by one function. The first function is absolute. So what it do, it returns the absolute value of a number. If you see here, we have negative sign numbers and positive sign symbols. Even though whatever the number you get, if you would like to have the number as absolute number, then we can make use of ABS function. If you see ABS of -2 resulted me 2, and a decimal value would be decimal value as it is already having plus sign, then it will come as is. And if you see -3.45, 3.4 came as -3 plus 3.4, like 3.4. So this way we get the absolute value. And how we can do average of any numbers? We should supply that as a array to the average function. So 1000 average would be 500.5. 1, 2, 3 average 1 plus 2 plus 3 by 3 would be 2.0. In similar way, seal. So what it do? We aware of these math functions already. Seal rounds a number up to the nearest whole number. If you see, we have 1.5. Then if I do seal of 1.5, this will outcome me 2. In similar way, if I do seal of 2.1, it will outcome me the up number, not lower number, down number 3. And in similar way, floor. The floor of a number results to the nearest whole number that towards down, not to the up like seal. So if you see floor of 1.5 will result me 1. Floor of 2.2 will result me 2. In similar way, round. So the round will give us either a up or down to the nearest whole number. So in 1.2, what would be the nearest number? It would be down, not up. That is 1. In even though, if I have 3.7, so what would be the nearest number? It would be up to the 4, not to the 3. So it will result me the 4. In similar way, if I have a middle number, suppose, let me copy paste 3.5 or 4.5. So how it can take? Suppose if I have 4.5, which is the middle to the lower and mid. If I keep 4.5, then it resulted me 5. So the priority goes to the up. Suppose if I have 4.4, then it resulted me the 4. That means the 50% of the round number goes priority to the up, not to the down. And next, we have a min function. So what this min function will do, the min function, we need to supply a array, and among the array, it could able to give us the minimum number. Whatever the location it can be placed, it will give the minimum number available from the array. In similar way, here let me put a 0.5. Then previously it was, let me remove it and show you. Previously it was 1.5. Now if I keep 0.5, so this way from a array, we get single dimensional array, we can get a minimum value. In similar way, we have max. Before that, let's see mean by. So coming to the mean by, if you see here from array we would able to collect the mean value. In similar way, if we would like to get among the JSON object of a array of collection objects, then we can write mean by, and which will iterate internally over the object, and it will collect the minimum value. So among these, the minimum value is 1. In similar way, max, just I told you. So it will give me the max value among the array. In similar way, max by. So how we got the mean by over iterating collection of array objects. In similar way, max also will iterate over the collection of objects inside a array, then will respond as the max value. In similar way, we have some Boolean related math functions that are is even. 1.5 is even number? No, because if you do divided by 2, it results as the 0. Is even 2? Yes, true. Is even 3? It would be false. We can see here this. In similar way, he is hard. So he is hard. 1.5. Yes, true. Is hard. 2.1. Yes. Is odd 3. Yes. In similar way, is integer. So we have integer ranges, right? We know integer ranges from 1 to another value. So we can see the integer. It also similar like is even mostly. So we can go for is integer or is even and is decimal. So in similar way, we can see is decimal. Is it having point numbers or not? It will check that. So these are the core math functions available based on the requirement. When we are doing transformations, we might need to deal with some of the functions. Uh, to be fact, mostly we don't use math functions. Very rare cases we use if we are working with some specific domain related to financial or something else. But the usage is not too more. It would be very less. And next, going to the string functions, we mostly use string functions in day-by-day activities in DataView in real time. So let's see the core data functions that are available. Oh, at first, contains. So what this contains will do, it will check whether the provided string is available in the string. So basically we write this contain statements. Sometimes we would like to write if else based control statements that we discussed in earlier session. So during the times on the strings, if you would like to check a part of string, then we can go for contains. If you would like to compare the string with exact string, then we can go with equal to equal to. If not, if you would like to check a part of the string, it behaves like. So if it contains mule, then it will result as true. For suppose, let me keep ESD. The string don't has ESD, that's why it written me false. In similar way, find. So what is the difference between contains and find? The find is also similar. It will try to find the provided alphabet is available in the string or not. If it is available, then it will respond back as the array at what are all the places it is available. If you see it is available in 0, 1, let me keep it end. Now it will show me the end index to here, 0, 1, 9. So during the time, if you would like to do some check with respect to the find, then we can get the size of it. Like for suppose, if I write like this, don't worry about size of function. We are going to see in upcoming sessions. Now you can see the size of occurrence of A is of 3 times. Let me put one more time. Then it will result me as 4. Don't worry about size of right now. We are going to discuss in coming sessions. Just like sometimes we would like to do the condition based using find or contains, so we can use these functions. Is blank. So is blank is responsible to show us whether it is blank or not. Let me remove this value now. Then it will me result it will result me the true because it is blank. Let me keep null. So null also it is considering as not blank. So we just need to remember. So mostly we don't use this function, just remember it. And coming to the isEmpty is helpful us to check a size of array, like the array is empty or not, or even the string values too. So if you see the isEmpty of allow, it would be false because it is there, right? Now let me remove the allow. Now it became true. Let me supply null value. So isEmpty of null is true. So isEmpty is more efficient than isBlank. Suppose in real time, if we are writing condition like, for suppose I have a field like a, let me take it as emp name, and let me supply a variable here as var name equal to Chinna. Now we can see Chinna has printed. If I would like to write a condition here like if name not equal to null or name not equal to empty, then I can keep the name, else I can keep not provided. As we see, the isEmpty can able to handle both null and empty. So whenever you would like to write these both conditions, rather than writing these, we can make use of the isEmpty function. So I can assign the value if it is not empty. Otherwise, I will provide it as a not provided, right? So to write that, I can write as not isEmpty of name. So if name is not empty, then it will print the name. Otherwise, it will print the not provided. Let me remove the value now. Then it's showing as not provided. And let me supply it as null. So this way we can make use of isEmpty to check the both checks like empty and also null rather than writing both. So let me change it to name now. And let me move this piece of logic after isEmpty. So isEmpty has significant use. We mostly use in real time data view transformations. Okay. And next, we would like to get a lower of some text. Yes, sometimes we might need to check irrespective of the lower or upper. We should allow in particular case. So during the time, either we can make it into lower and compare it in similar way. We can get the upper of small letters into upper letters. Even it is also gives us, for suppose I am having combination of both, still it could able to do into totally into upper. So you see the mule ESB, I have both combination, and in similar way MuleSoft is also have one upper. Let me take it as MuleSoft ESB as small. Now we can see it completely able to change to the lower and matches. So whenever we would like to do some regular expression checks, then we can go for matches. So we can able to validate against to that. So now I am doing a regular expression with email validation. Now let me remove it here. As for this regular expression, it was expecting it. Then it will give me the matches example as false. If I supply it, then it will give me it as exactly it is matching to the pattern that we provided. In similar way, replace. So if you would like to replace some text with some text, then we can go with replace with. So here replace and with both work as a different functions. So we should always use combinations. So the syntaxes we should remember writing of these functions to quickly write in data view language. Split by. So this split by can give us, I'm splitting by hyphen, then it can give us the array of values that are splitted based on the split by we have provided. Now we got A, B, C. For suppose I would like to get the first value. So I can write split by and I would like to get the first value of this. Then I can put it as 0. Then it will give me the simple value that is A. For suppose I would like to get last value. Then I can supply as -1. Now we can see it has given me the last value. Okay. In similar way, we have a starts with, ends with. So for suppose starts with, if I would like to see whether the particular string is starting with, yes, if it will return me the true. Opposite, like opposite to start with is ends with. And trim. So we mostly use this function in most of the programming languages. Basically, string functions are mostly used in all object-oriented programming languages or integration tools. So we see the trim is one of the important function. The functionality of trim is it always removes the spaces in the beginning of the word and at the end of the word, not in the middle of the word. Middle of the word spaces are considered as expected, but whenever we see some extra spaces that we are getting, so this will sometimes it will collapse our conditional based statements, right? We are trying to compare some string with equal to, but the original string is coming as this, but coming as space in the starting. So that won't compare as a true. That will result as the false. So during the times we use the trim to trim the spaces before the word and after the word. So these are the core string functions we have. That's all about this session. In this session, next session, I will come up with more data view functions. Thank you.